Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. We'll be talking about the overall situation, political situation with regard to the arrest of key retired army personnel. We've seen Faiz Hameed's arrest. We've also seen other arrests in connection with this, the political ramifications of this. We've also, of course, seen these military personnel into custody now in connection with court-martial proceedings against the former spy master Faiz Hameed, allegations of violating the Army Act and victimizing the owner of a private housing society. We'll be talking about this. We'll also be talking about what it means for the overall process of accountability as far as Pakistan is concerned, what it means for of course institutions, and what it means for the integral role that they play in overall acting within the ambit of the authority that has been given to them. All of that today on Perspective. I have with me Fakhar Yousafzai, who's a senior journalist. Thank you for being with us today. And Syed Muhammad Ali, who's a senior analyst. Thank you for joining us today. We also have with us Ali Rashid, who's spokesperson Sindh government. Thank you for joining us today. Let me start with Ali and then I'll come back in the studio. Ali, this is, in a lot of sense, in a lot of ways, what's happened as far as these arrests are concerned, it's unprecedented. Would you agree with that? The way that accountability has taken its course, the way that we've seen, things happen in terms of, holding those that perhaps we don't, investigation is in progress, but have exceeded their authority, are perhaps being held accountable. How would you look at this?
Absolutely. I feel it is something which is welcome, and it's never happened before. But I would like to tell you that personally, I've been following this case, especially when it comes to Top City. I know the owner personally as well. So the entire thing, when it was transpiring, so I was privy to a lot of information which a lot of people weren't. This happened in 2016-17, when this thing was initiated, and what I feel is a win for democracy and win for the institutions and for everyone is the fact that the owner of Top City, who felt that he was victimized, went to Supreme Court, and then there was a proper inquiry, and Supreme Court forwarded it to the army, and then the army internally inquired this, and then they decided there should be a court-martial. So, this is exactly how a country should run. This is exactly, very strong message has been given, not just the fact that there's accountability within the institution of the army, but also that nobody is above the law. So, a normal citizen of the country.
On that note, I'll come back to you. Fakhar Sahab, do you agree with what Ali is saying? Also, we've seen the Information Minister Ataullah Tarid say that, this is whoever is involved and whoever has compromised the country's security, all those will come in the grasp. So that hints at perhaps more accountability on every level. How would you look at that?
Yeah, it's very important for every society, and especially for the country like Pakistan. It's very important. And as you know, General Faiz Hameed is not an ordinary person. He, the former chief of ISI, and I think so. If the Pakistan Army started the accountability from him, I think so. We should welcome to that, and we should appreciate it. And it shouldn't be stopped. I think so. It's very important for our country. From 77 years, we are talking about the accountability. We listen about the accountability of the politicians, but right now, if we talk about him, this is a very welcoming step, I think so. And all the people from the ordinary Pakistani, from the bottom to the top, everyone is appreciating it. I think so. It will be very good for the institution like the Pakistan Army. The people, some people are saying that some political parties were criticizing them for the accountability and things like that. I think so. Now this is a time that if some political party or some other people were criticizing them, of course they can say that we have started our accountability from our top general. He is not an ordinary man. I think so. It's very important and welcoming.
The symbolism of it,
yeah, of course,
is extremely important. Among other things, let me go to Syed Muhammad Ali. Do you agree with this? And also the fact that, Do you think, in terms of what it means for institutions itself, internally of course, like Fakhar Saab said, accountability of the army, yes, but overall the concept that there is no one above the law, does it not underline that? And it was thought earlier on that there are those that are not, that do not come within the grasp of the law, and that it clearly refutes that, no?
Thank you for Mahrukh. I think there are three very important takeaways from this extraordinary development. First off, I think the most important result or takeaway is related to constitutional significance. As has been pointed out by our friend joining us from Karachi, is that this inquiry was carried out by Pakistan Army's inquiry committee on the directive and instructions of the Supreme Court. So this means that this was a constitutional and legal process, and this reflects that the Army as an institution respects and complies with the constitutional and legal obligation. Number two, I think it is a very important signal for stable and responsible civil military relations, that those political elements who were trying to do politics within the ranks of Pakistan Army have been given a very stern and clear signal that Army is a professional, military, disciplined institution which does not allow any interference in it, and notwithstanding
its own integrity is the most important.
Exactly, and notwithstanding the corruption related issue related to the top city allegations, but the inquiry has unearthed several very serious allegations against Lieutenant General Faiz Hameed related to his alleged role in political interference within the army and working on behalf of some political elements in violation of the Army Act, which prohibits all military officers not to participate in any political activity for the 2 years after their retirement. So I think these are the three things which are very important, and most importantly, as you yourself pointed out, a very clear signal to all the rank and file of military itself that the military leadership is not going to compromise or yield in terms of any violation of discipline, irrespective of rank, status and influence, and that will ensure the very credible command and control and strict discipline within the ranks of army as well.
Let me go to Ali on this. Ali, there's also, as far as the army itself is concerned, we've also seen a disassociation by a certain political party, its leadership, from any alliance, any relationship, or any kind of having any kind of contact. We've seen that happen following this arrest. How would you comment on this?
I feel till now, whatever has been brought to public knowledge, I think whatever General Faiz has been accused of, it was some private act which he misused his office to extort money out of some private society owner. So I guess it's not come to a political party where they would have to justify them, but it is kind of surprising that the political party has gotten defensive beforehand, because nobody talked about any political party, nor was General Faiz accused of anything to do with the political party. He was accused of being involved in something to do with a private matter, which had to do with a private businessman, a private society owner. But the way PTI jumped in and disowned him, disassociated with him, was a bit surprising. But at the same time, if you actually look at the certain political parties, certain founder, he did say that General Faiz was an asset of the country which got wasted. So he did put it out there that that they may be like not they may have broken up but there were once feelings there.
Fair enough, fair enough. Fakhar Sahib, whether, as far as this is concerned, this whole investigation is concerned, there is, do you think it's a can of worms that will actually, yield more information once this investigation is underway? Because it certainly looks like it. We've also seen statements come from, different, that may hint at that happening. Do you think that's likely? Because of course, this has been, it's something that has been talked about, not overtly, for a while, as far as this is, this involvement, alliance, or whatever you may call it. And I think Ali is very right when he says that this is not currently in association with anything to do with that.
Yes.
So saying that beforehand is kind of extraordinary.
Yeah, of course, it's not the story of today if we talk about it. Of course, the General Faiz arrested 2 or 3 days ago by the Pakistan Army. But the story started from the beginning when Imran Khan Saab was the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and after that, after 2021, there are so many things which is, I think so, which is opening now, and of course, the team, the investigator will investigate it properly. I think so. It's not only the matter of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf or the matter of General Faiz Hameed. I think so. It's very important for Pakistan. Internationally, the people will talk about it. This organization, who was General Faiz was the chief of that. I think so. It should be, I think so, and the report should be public. Each and everything should come in public, and they should investigate it properly. Who is involved? Not only the General Faiz, if other people are involved from that organization or from some other organization, I think so they should investigate them as well. Then we can say that will be a clear accountability.
Do you think there's a chance? I want to take Syed Muhammad Ali's opinion on this, but do you think there's also a chance that this may extend to other institutions that have perhaps not faced that kind of inquiry before?
I think, as I earlier pointed out, this very important and timely step by the army as an institution has sent very clear, unambiguous and strong signals to all the other institutions, whether they are political parties. The 3 signals clearly. Very clear signal to the political parties that any interference within the military discipline and rank and file and political interference will not be tolerated. And any retired or serving officer who might be found involved in politics will be taken to task according to law and due process. Second signal is to all the retired officers as well, that despite retirement, since they might be privy and have had access to sensitive information of national security significance. So they do, despite retirement, are expected to conduct themselves professionally, carefully and responsibly in compliance with the legal obligations according to Army Act, and if they've had access to other sensitive information, perhaps also Official Secrets Act. And the third very important signal is to all the other institutions like you mentioned, that any individual, irrespective of his seniority, authority, appointment, if he uses that for personal ulterior motive, for harming anybody or promoting somebody's political agenda or harming the national institutional interest, I think will not be above the law. And Army has taken a difficult but necessary and effective decision, which I think will earn it greater respect, trust from not only within its own ranks, from other institutions, and inshallah from the international community as well.
Ali, there's also, we saw the press conference today by Nawaz Sharif Saab, Maryam Nawaz Saiba, as Chief Minister of Punjab, when is of course talking about the overall reduction in prices of electricity. And there is also Nawaz Sharif Saab spoke about how when things were on the mend as far as the PMLN was concerned, when PMLN was leading the country, when things were actually changing for Pakistan, and he said this before on numerous occasions. He was removed from power in 2017-18. He talked about that again. In this kind of, of course, how do you look at this press conference? What is your overall take on this? Of course, you are also part of the alliance, of course, with the PMLN. And we've seen this come from the federal government also, this reduction. Of course, it's a welcome move with regard to that as far as electricity tariff is concerned.
Absolutely. I think it's a welcome move, and I think whatever Mia Saab has said in the press conference, we want to give him the benefit of the doubt, because as Pakistanis, not just as a political party, as Pakistanis, we really want to believe that Mia Saab and the federal government are really wanting to make a difference for the local common man and give some relief, let it be electricity or let it be otherwise. But that being said, there are a few statements which had gone out from Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Sahab today also, and he said that push has come to shove and it's about time that PMLN should get serious about giving relief to the people and working on the inflation. We may be coalition partners, we may have constitutional positions, but we will give you a tough time if we feel that you're not doing enough to make sure that the people are getting some kind of relief. So that is another thing which was in other news today, what Bilawal Saab had said. So I'm just connecting it to whatever what Mia Saab's press conference had said. So I think it's a welcome thing. We want to believe him, and we don't feel, I see some other political parties are saying it's just political point scoring. For the sake of the country, we would just want to be, pure, and we want to just give them the benefit of the doubt that whatever they're saying, it's the truth. And we just, and as Mr. Bilawal said, that, now the time has come that we have had enough time, the government has had enough time, they have been in power for some time. It's about time that the government should start delivering and giving relief to the people. And we will give the government a tough time if they don't.
Fakhar Saab, how do you look at this? What Ali is saying, of course, in terms of Bilawal Bhutto Zardari's statement, this press conference overall, of course, they are part of the government in the sense that, it's an alliance in that regard. How do you look at this statement? And of course, the welcome reduction in electricity tariff with, of course, he criticized the PTI's economic policies earlier on, the price hike and the way that the mess the country was left in. Before the continuation of, we've seen the elections and then the governance.
Yeah, of course, it's a very good thing for, especially for the people of Punjab. 69% of population living in Punjab, and 14 rupees per unit is the reduction by the Punjab government. But I think so, it's not only the need of Punjab. I think so. All the provinces need it,
but
the capital cities need it. Of course, everyone is facing this hike of price, inflation, and things like that. I think so. They should provide this facility and this reduction to the whole country, not only to the Punjab, because CM Punjab is the daughter of the Mia Nawaz Sharif, and his brother is working as a Prime Minister of Pakistan. Of course, he should talk to him, and you should provide the reduction and things like that. But I think so, if as well as the Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Sahab is concerned, I think so he is in the coalition government. In 2021, he was Pakistan People's Party was the part of that government for 16 months, and right now they are also the part of this government. I think so, if they are talking about like the opposition, I don't know what they want to say actually. If they are not the part of the government, they should sit on the opposition benches And of course, they should pressurize the government for the relief provide to the people of Pakistan. It's very important. Otherwise, if Bilal Bhutto Saab is talking or speech in the parliament or in Karachi or somewhere else, I think so. I will say this is useless because they are not providing any relief to the people of Pakistan. This is important, how they will provide the relief, how they will reduce the prices, and how they will reduce the loans from the other countries like IMF and things like that. It is very important, I think.
Syed Muhammad Ali, there is also, you know, on the one side, of course, and I'll ask Ali this, whether there, of course, the line that whenever things get tough, PPP does stand up and you know, talk to the PMLN and tell them that, you know, they want to make sure, you know, we've seen earlier also performances, ministries, all of those things. And, you know, the role of the opposition, so to speak, which Fakhar Saab mentioned. But then the criticism is the opposition at this time is not really playing that role. Would you agree with that? I mean, we have an opposition which talks more about, you know, the arrest of their leader or talks more about those issues. We've also seen, you know, a dharna that happened, the latest one with regard to particularly those arrests, which talk about victimization, but less about the problems that, you know, people are facing, less about price hikes, less about the issue of inflation, which are the main concern for the people at this time.
Indeed, I think we see two contrasting political behaviors, one from the government coalition and the second from the, you know, the way the opposition is conducting itself. On one hand, I think it is difficult to run a coalition government because they're contrasting constituencies, ideologies, agendas, manifestos, and it's a tough challenge for the government to reconcile on a daily basis all these contrasting perspectives, agendas and constituencies to ensure that the decision making is inclusive and participatory. But that's the spirit of democracy, although it has challenges for decision making. But in contrast, you see a somewhat erratic behavior from the opposition. That you know, the spirit of democracy, Mahrukh, is that the provinces. I have a slightly different view from what was earlier expressed. I see it in a context of a healthy competition to deliver, to govern better, and to perform and deliver. So if there are you know, 5 provinces and you have different governments, so let them compete in terms of delivering, addressing people's concerns, governing better, and this healthy competition can lead to the next elections whenever they are held, that if one party has governed one province better, and it will give an incentive to the other provinces to give them a chance to also do better in their province than their previous government. But coming back to the issue of somewhat erratic opposition.
Let me, you know, we were talking about the provinces, and I will ask Ali this also. But you know, we've seen an arrest happen, you know, a resignation, happen in KP again. So that also shows that there is perhaps accountability within the system. I mean, if people are pointing fingers at a government in the province, then, you know, perhaps it shows that that also has to be accounted for, whether it's KP or whether it's any province at this time.
Indeed, I think accountability is one of the core fundamental requirements of stable and functional democracy. That I mean, whenever people vote in elections, that in a way is accountability. They are holding those people who enjoyed the trust and public offices for 4 or 5 years, and then they are tested in terms of public sentiment or public confidence, and if they have not lived up to the expectation of the people, somebody else is given the chance. So that in a way is peaceful accountability through democratic means. However, I just wanted to quickly comment that in contrast, the somewhat erratic behavior of the KPK government is unfortunate, because Pakistan right now has three critical national security challenges. First is political stability, the second is counter-terrorism, and the third is economy.
Yes.
So it is very important that all governments, all provincial governments demonstrate responsible statecraft and live up to the expectations of their people and deliver and focus on better governing and addressing the concerns of the people, including poverty, including inflation, including unemployment, including price hike, so that the democracy is strengthened as a system in terms of public confidence in the system, that it is not only participatory, but it can also deliver and meet their expectations.
Fair enough. Ji, Ali, there is, you heard what Fakhar Sahab also said as far as PPP is concerned, your role is concerned, your criticism of the federal government is concerned. How would you respond to that?
The thing is, in the past, as Fakhar Saab said, that we were part of the PDM, and then after that, you see, there's a difference. In the PDM, when we were part of the PDM, we were part of the government. We had a lot of federal ministries also. This time around, what Mia Saab had said was that because there were so many coalition partners and so many ministries, and the government was, PMLN was unable to run the government properly due to that. So we said, fair enough. This time around, you can run the entire government by yourself. We don't want any ministries. We'll have constitutional positions which have nothing to do with running the country or running the government. You run the country and we will support you, and because we don't want any compromise on that. Now, that being said, if we feel that things are not working out the way it should, or the government is not being able to deliver the way it should be, so then obviously they are a coalition partners. We have the right. Now, Fakhar Saab said that if People's Party does not like it, they should not criticize it, should go sit in the opposition. But sir, if I should tell you, if you go sit in the opposition, the government will be no longer there. The government will be toppled, because we are the ones which are binding, we're holding the government together. So I feel, instead of doing opposition, where whatever the opposition is saying to PMLN, that please get serious, as opposed to a coalition partner who is actually keeping their government intact. If it comes from a coalition partner like us, they will take it more seriously. If anything, this should be appreciated that PPP, being a coalition partner, is taking such a tough stance.
Is it not sending the kind of signal that you are only there, the PPP is only there for the positives? Whatever positives the federal government has, or whatever positive steps it takes, but not for the negative. That not for the haul, not for the long haul, or not for the effort that needs to be made. Is it not sending that kind of signal overall, in your opinion?
No, I would respectfully disagree. Right? I do understand your point of view and your perspective, and you are right. When you say it might seem like it's this kind of signal is being sent, but in my opinion, I feel if you're part of the coalition, if you're part of the government, you're there for better or for worse, right? It's like a marriage. So in sickness and in health, you're together. So similarly, if we feel our coalition partners are not performing, or they're not at par, or to our expectations or the public's expectations, is it wrong that we are criticizing them or telling them to get serious? I think we would be part of the good and not be part of anything if we just remain silent. If we were not to comment at all and just enjoy the constitutional positions and not give these statements and not talk to the coalition partners, then it may be said that People's Party is just for the good but not for the bad. But here, when something bad is happening, we are owning up to it. We are seeing that it is also our responsibility, being coalition partners, to bring this up with our leading coalition partner, PMLN, And we're saying it to them that it's about time that you should get serious, otherwise we'll give you a tough time.
But do you envisage, Ali, perhaps becoming, also becoming a part of the cabinet at a later stage?
No, not at this time. It has been discussed on multiple occasions. We've been invited by PMLN at multiple times, and they really want us to be part of the federal government, but we have categorically refused at this point in time. And the reason, again, I'm saying it's very basic and simple. It's not about taking responsibility or the onus or bad or good. It's just the fact that, Mia Saab had initially told us in our previous experience, he had told us, look, since you guys were there, since other political parties were there, वो हम सही तरह government नहीं चला सके, we were unable to perform because there were so many different stakeholders. Cabinet में we had to take everybody on board. Hence, वो decision making was delayed. So that's why this time around we said, okay, that's fine. We hear you, and we are willing to work with you in that, in the kind of the situation where you are running the cabinet, you're taking all the decisions. We don't want to interfere in the day-to-day running of the country. You run the country. We're supporting you. We don't want a hung parliament where we have to go for another election and spend 70 billion rupees again because the government can't, the country can't afford it. But yes, in this makeshift arrangement, we will fully support you. You do what you need to do. We're here to support all your good, decisions. But where we feel that you are, being undermined, or the government's being undermined, or we feel that there's room for improvement, that we will tell you. We will tell you that, no, you need to get serious and you need to get your act together.
Right, fair enough. Fakhar, do you think that the opposition is playing its role at this time? Is it talking about people's issues? Is it talking about, what you and I are facing?
Yeah.
Is it, of course, it has a very legitimate role, and it talks about the fact that, their seats and the role that it has and the stake that they have in the parliament, but we don't see them talking about those issues.
I 100% agree with you on this. Unfortunately, they are not playing their role in the parliament as an opposition. They are in the government in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and they are in opposition here in National Assembly. But I think so they should play, they only talk about their chairman Saab, Imran Khan Saab, and to release them from the prison. And they are only talking about that. They are not talking
their own internal politics or their politics of the party, or issues that they keep talking about as far as their political party itself is concerned. We've seen press conferences with regard to that, but not about the issues again that we as a country face, and that's extremely important. No?
Yeah, of course, they are not addressing those issues in the parliament, which is related to the laymen of Pakistan. This is very important. Of course, they are here to sit here in the parliament with the help of the Pakistani people votes. Of course, they should deliver. They should deliver as a opposition party in the parliament, and they should talk about especially the inflation, especially the electricity price hike, the unemployment, the political uncertainty. There are so many things in our country, but they are only discussing the chairman of
issues within. Syed Muhammad Ali, there is also, as far as Pakistan at this time is concerned, as far as I want to come back to that, we talk about separation of powers, and certainly a political system like ours with a parliamentary style of democracy, with the parliamentary system, it really rests on that kind of separation of powers. Whether it's bookish or not, it's a concept that has to be followed. Do you think that this arrest underscores that every institution, the purview within which they exist, has to be followed? The ambit of their power, whether we talk about the military, whether we talk about political leaders, the parliament at this time, whether we talk about other institutions also, it has to be maintained at all cost, and that is again a precedent that is being set unequivocally.
I agree with you, Mahrukh, on that because I think for any stable political system or governable state, it is very important that the constitutional mandate and responsibilities are respected, and adhered to. And this particular arrest, I think, as I earlier pointed out, sends a very clear signal that military will not allow any politics within its ranks, and it will set a precedence. And let me welcome PTI's care not to defend retired Lieutenant General Faiz. It is very clear that there was hardly any voice or reaction which aimed at defending General Faiz. In fact, the instant immediate reaction from PTI was to distance themselves from General Faiz by simply saying it's Army's internal matter, they will do whatever they think is appropriate.
I think Ali pointed out that asset statement that came out from
yes, and I think that is perhaps aimed at trying to save themselves from the likely consequences of the findings of this inquiry, because it is very important, as has been clearly enunciated in the ISPR press statement, that there are two major violations which are attributed to General Faiz. One is of economic nature related to this top city colony, but the second more grave allegation and more serious allegation is related to the violation of Army Act post retirement, which I translate and interpret as doing politics in violation of the 2-year prohibition on all military officers. So when you look at these three things, I think it is also very important and in fact interesting to witness some hasty repeated resignations from key political appointment holders within the ranks of PTI immediately after this arrest. And you know, a few of his confidants were taken into military custody yesterday as well.
I want to talk about, do you think that those themselves, those other arrests also perhaps, you know, we don't know of course at this time and it's only speculation, but that it might be linked to other you know, like you said, involvements in other areas like politics, those other arrests particularly, and not necessarily with again this private housing matter?
Absolutely. And I think, let me reinforce what I said. The inquiry, as I earlier pointed out, was initiated on the instructions of Supreme Court, primarily to investigate the allegations related to the top city scandal. However, you would recall that the first press conference on 7th May by DGISPR accepted that an inquiry has been commissioned under a serving Major General to investigate these allegations. Fast forward 3 months, you come across another press statement which proves that now Army's investigation committee has found evidences which indicate that he has been found violating not just, you know, the trust and responsibility expected of him in terms of violating his position for some financial you know misbehavior, but also more serious violations of Official Secret Act and Army Act by working on behalf of some political party and trying to do politics within the ranks of Army. Now that is something which is a red line. Let me briefly conclude, Mahrukh, that Pakistan Army is one of the most strong, united and disciplined institutions in the world. It commands the respect of the international community, the trust of the nation and fear of the adversaries, and it has earned it with lot of sweat and blood. But this was an unprecedented challenge that Army faced within its own ranks, that a political party is trying to, create misgiving and apprehensions within the rank and file about its leadership. Now, that is something it will never accept, tolerate, and I think
that's what it shows.
It will not put up with it.
Unfortunately, I'm running out of time. Thank you so much. Ali, your quick comments. Do you think that these arrests, like Syed Muhammad Ali says, that followed the investigation on General Faiz are perhaps linked to, we've seen arrests by PTI resignations by PTI leaders. How would you look at them following this investigation?
I think it's too premature to jump to conclusions, but yes, definitely these developments are very interesting and the timings are very interesting, and the kind of raids, if you remember recently there was a raid at the central office of PTI and some equipment was recovered, and some people are also saying that some evidence was recovered from there which are linking General Faiz and other things to that thing. But as I said, it's too soon till it doesn't come.
Thank you so much, Ali. Thank you so much, Fakhar Yousafzai. Thank you for joining us. Syed Muhammad Ali, thank you for being with us today. Ali Rashid, thank you for joining us from Karachi. Overall, as far as things stand, of course, these arrests, these investigations are certainly a welcome step and an unprecedented step to show that no one is above the law, and of course every institution must act within the ambit of their power, their jurisdiction, and this is a case in point for that, and of course for accountability at every level all over. Thank you so much for joining us today on Press.